Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 137, and today we're going to be doing battle with Gwen Sejuani. And so, Gwen Sejuani, this is a deck, it's kind of popped up on the radar here in the past couple of weeks ago. If you like to keep up with the meta reporting tools out there, this is a deck that's been sporting the highest win rate on Runeterra.ar's meta thing for the past few days. Now, you have to kind of like watch yourself as you go and look at the deck lists that push their way to the top. I don't remember Runeterra.ar's exact criteria. It might just be like 100 matches in terms of win rate, but in the grand scale of things, that's not too many. And so since this one has topped it off at like 4 or 5 days, it's pushing 1,000 matches in total. It's at least worth taking a peek at. Now, will this be something better than the Gwen Katarina version that has a lot of iterations underneath it and a lot of reps in constructed? Probably not, but it does have a lot of kind of best of 3 implications as to where, what if you want to play Katarina in a different deck? What if you want to play Elise in a different deck? And then maybe you'll want to push yourself over this way. What if you have some other kind of Noxus Shadow Isles offering? Maybe you're bringing in a Elise Decimate deck. Who knows? And so there's always a bit of value in kind of exploring these side decks. Even though it may not be the kind of premier optimal version. And it's also a thing that could kind of evolve into the premier optimal version in the next week or two as people are now out there gunning for the Noxus version of Gwen. And so I think it's worth taking a look into, seeing how things go. And the kind of big core thing that this has going for it is the Overwhelms package. The meta has definitely sorted itself out into a space to where Overwhelm is extremely important. You have a lot of decks like Ezreal Kennen running around that just block all day. And if they're just going to block and win on turn 9 or turn 10 when they can spend 15 mana, you have to either be overwhelming, you have to rally, or you have to come at them with elusives. And so this deck comes at you with the Overwhelms very well. This kind of Gnar Sejuani number was popular maybe 4 or 6 months ago. It was kind of with a Darius Gnar shell. But now that this is over into Shadow Isles, you lose out on the Darius and the Noxus piece out of that. But the kind of core idea that you have coming out of this is that Overwhelm's good. We want to be making a lot of Overwhelm attacks into our opposing units. Freylord has a lot of good ones, so we're going to have the Ruthless Raider and the Tusk Speaker as the early plays, Scar Maiden Reaver and Ancient Yeti as the later ones. And the big play that we look to make in the early game is playing a 2-drop, playing another 2-drop, and then winning a combat with the Troll Chant. And so if you can pull off this 2-for-1 early with the Troll Chant, you typically get to snowball the board, and then you don't care about losing combats from that point forward. You're just dealing so much damage and you're so far ahead that the Overwhelms will carry you through the game. But if the game doesn't go exactly how you want, you've been making some Overwhelm attacks, you're losing your units, how do we actually close out the game? That's where something like the Harrowing is going to come in. And so the Harrowing, traditionally a very fantastic game closer, but it turns out it does double duty when all of your units have Overwhelm. As you put 40 power of units on the board, if all of them have Overwhelm, they have a pretty good shot at coming in and closing out the games. And so that's the general idea, right? Get some 2-drops down, win some combats with Troll Chants, get some chip damage in on your opponent, and then close out the game with the Harrowing. Outside of that, we are playing a bit of a Hallowed package. The Hallowed cards all work fantastically with Overwhelms. If we're attacking with a Ruthless Raider and he's getting in +2 or +3 attack, that Overwhelm damage is going to chip in to where if we're playing the Noxus version and attacking with little Spiderlings, they are getting value out of the Spiderlings, but they're not dealing damage. But the Overwhelm plus Hallowed combos work kind of nicely. And then the other thing we're getting out of the Shadow Isles and Freylord versions here are some pretty decent interactivity, right? We're playing Unspeakable Horror as a drain that deals damage. We have the Troll Chants that we've already mentioned. We have pretty good removal across the Three Sisters and the Vengeance. And then the champions we're getting out of Freylord are quite nice as well between Gnar and Sejuani. Most of the versions of this deck tend to run 2 or 3 copies of Sejuani. I think it's just too expensive, so we dropped the curve down a little bit with an additional copy of Gnar. And so that should get us ready. That should get the ideas out there and bubbling in your brain. I checked our deck list. The pay-to-win price has been paid on this one. Everything in here has been premium for quite a while. Now we're ready. Let's jump on into combat. See if we can't get victory in an overwhelming fashion. You're welcome. GG. And so as the game loads, I hope you all enjoyed that football game last night. I haven't watched it yet, but I can already tell you it was a doozy. Everyone is super excited about their fantasy football teams, their fantasy football season, the incoming start of the NFL. It's all wonderful. It's the best time of year. I'll keep it to a minimum. I won't do too much talking about sports. Keep the sports ball to a minimum in the video here. But man, I'm excited. I can't wait. But all right, jumping into battle here, we have the decision: do we want to hang on to an unspeakable horror? And I mean, probably not. If opponent drops a fearsome one drop, we can go ahead and try and take it down with a Phantom Butler. It's not a necessity to save the spell to try and kill this Xerxes hatchling. If he wants to open attack into us, whatever. So yeah, whatevs, bruh. All right, so we'll drop the Ruthless Raider. There is a world where he actually misses on the lurk. He hasn't done any predicting, and if he misses on the lurk, I want to be able to kill one of these units. LOL, learn from the master. And so that was a pretty high-risk, high-reward play, and that turned out nicely. If we just got domed for 6 there, we would have been in a bit of a bind, but we crushed through that handily. Now, I want to add the Phantom Butler. If we're losing a unit in combat this turn, we'd like to lose the Butler. Ideally, he's just going to be blocking next turn, but the Troll Chant's going to get a huge shutdown on this. I'm going to say not losing any units here. Oh, man. We're still going to play it. But I was really hoping we'd get the 2-for-1 here, and he would come in with the Butler. You get the huge shutdown. Not the case, but it's okay. There is an idea there as well that we could have dropped a Malefic Spear. I'm not that into losing a unit, so. What you got? He's definitely hitting lurks this time. He's still going to add something else to the board. We should get a pretty handy 2-for-1. Troll Chant's ready to go. The Rek'Sai lurk. It's a good thing our units have tough. Alright. Kill them all. Our dudes all live. Sounds good to me. Gonna get to boom them real hard next turn with this double overwhelm as well. It's not going to be enough to close out the game, but we're getting pretty close. Keep saving this Tusk Speaker for the opposing turn. Ideally, in terms of sequencing our units, if it comes down to the Ruthless Raider or the Tusk Speaker, we want to be playing the Tusk Speaker on our opponent's turn so that we get these additional level ups onto Sejuani. Sometimes you don't get the choice. Sometimes you want to play them out of order just due to like tough and the sequencing that way. But in general, you know, if you say, hey, how do I do this in every single matchup? You want to play the Tusk Speaker on the opposing turn. All right, then we're going to load up our Hallowed onto our vulnerable unit. Looking good. Looking good, fam jam. Oh, we missed one. Oh my gosh, I thought I paid the price on this stupid game, and I have this non-premium Malefic Spear. We're probably going to fucking lose the game now. I'm sorry I did that to you. That wasn't my intent. Let's go fix that. Poor Malefic Spear. Surprised we won. I lied to my viewers. I lied to myself. I lied to the gods of pay to win. It was a disaster. So where are we at? Malefic Spear? Hope I got the gems. Perfect. All right, we're ready now. Now we can appropriately battle. see if we can't spend our day playing against Ezreal Kennen, and there's been a lot of action Lee Sin in the Diamond meta right now. The big three I've been running into are the Katarina Gwen, Ezreal Kennen, and then action Lee Sin. So this deck, it's still strong against a lot of that, but it does start to run into a bit of problems. Like if you get your if you get like an Ancient Yeti popped by a Homecoming, then he's just not doing anything the rest of the game, and so kind of meta dependent on how perfectly good everything can be. Now here we did skip on playing our Boisterous Host. I'm looking to get a good Troll Chant, and so I want to bank up the mana for our big play on turn 2. We'll let the Troll Chant stick around and do its thing. Now that we've picked up a second host, I think we're good to just get the 3 units on the board. Give opponent a little bit more reason to put down a double block. It's a little unfortunate with this Sculptor having 3 health, but he doesn't take the bait. That's all right. I think we're still in a pretty decent spot. I don't really care if he comes in and starts challenging down our units at this point.
A slight adjustment. Another guest. Wonderful. Fortune favors.
Misfortune, sure.
The winter's claw strikes.
All right, ready for combat.
Where's my
My 1 health units, I guess, aren't as ready as they would like to be, but I think we'll be all right. Let's see. We need to give our Hallowed bro the bonus health so that he survives the love tap. We can shrink up the bird. Take the 6. Get to keep our Ruthless Raider. Take down 2 units. Looks good to me. So thinking about dropping a sharp sight onto the Ruthless Raider. All right. Oh, a pretty good open for us now. Probably. Oh fuck. That could have gone worse, I guess. Now we need to make sure we're not dying. If we get to cycle back and attack and play the Harrowing, then I feel okay. But we gotta get to that point. All right, so let's make the big Hallowed attack. He's not gonna want to block with Misfortune, but looks like he's just gonna do it anyways. It's a strong bird. So here, I'm gonna go ahead and play the Unspeakable Horror, right? What we're going to run into now is next turn, we're gonna play Sejuani, so we need to be banked up, or, well, I should say next turn, we're not gonna get to bank any mana, and then as we swing back to our turn 7, we need 2. And so we can spend up to 3 mana this turn. This is the only thing that we can cast, so we'll go ahead and drop an Unspeakable Horror. So we get the 3 bank and then can Harrow on our following attack. Okay. You should have a pretty tough time killing us here. Cool. All right, let's drop the big spell. Boop. Give me all those delicious stats, please. This may not be lethal, but it should kill everything. Can't kill Gwen here, but a lot of damage rolling in. I'm going to bring this little to big. We want the Boisterous Host getting the bonus, so if he blocks over here to the left, we get to push more with these units to the right. He has to block with the Sculptor, looks good. 1 damage short of lethal, but we do have Unspeakable Horror in hand. Really surprised he's not stopping this 6 hit instead of blocking something like Phantom Butler. right? You can shift a Vanguard Sergeant to the right, put the Quen in front. Well, I guess if you don't want to lose Quen,
Model for me? You're easy to track.
a little safer. Sharp side, okay. Man, we did not kill very many things on this attack. I just assumed this one was going to be super done, and it was not. It was not.
A little reinforcement at the seams.
Yeah, we're going to die to this for Demacia. Okay, GG. Oof, a little short. A little short. That's tough. I'm not sure if we could have interacted a little better in there, or if we should have... I don't think we would have gotten anywhere if we pushed a Unspeakable Horror onto one of his units instead of sending it to face. It accomplishes a similar thing in that he wouldn't be getting to... Like, if he blocks with one of those small units, then we're still going to be able to try and push Overwhelm damage in. But still kind of tough. Do we want to keep Gwen against Kaisa? I'm not really amped about hanging on to 4-drops here. Let's see if we can't get some 2s. Found them. Got it. The booms have been brought. You gotta watch out against these Shurima folks. They come down and they play Rite of Negations for your Harrowings. It's a nasty thing to do. All right, he's bringing in Bird. Getting pretty close to evolving. He's up to 4. Let's see if we can't get a Troll Chant out of this. I guess it's kind of obvious that if he's like bringing Bird into our units, that we can't stop it. I think I'm just going to let this happen. I'm going to play the Malefic Spear on our dude. And then just take the 3 from the Elder. It's like we're not getting a good Troll Chant out of that. This is a big turn. See if he gets the keyword out of it. We do have the option to play the stance swap as an AoE, kill off some of these smaller things. It's going to be kind of growingly important as we roll into this next turn. But just stop what we can do now. I don't think the stance swap's going to be ultra worthwhile on this board. Incoming Bird. So I would assume he's going to play Kaisa now. So how do we want to do this? Do we want to Entomb Kaisa, or do we want to take down with the AoE? He shouldn't be able to get the Kaisa flip this turn, right? I don't really care about Kaisa having Scout as long as she isn't flipped. And I don't think he should be able to flip this turn. The other option we have is to just try and do a 3 Sisters. And so he tries to second scan, we 3 Sisters something away. But I think the stance swap's okay. Ranger's Resolve would be painful here, but I think a Sharp Sight's fine. Okay. That went well. I did the mathematics on if that went well, and it adds up. It's too bad we can't kill the Kaisa with the Vulpine Wanderer, but one thing at a time. Sejuani's pretty close to the old flipperoo as well. She might get to do that on our next attack.
Enough stalling.
The big decisions being made right now. I assure you, these are the biggest. Alright, so do we just want to send the Tusk Speaker into Kaisa? I think without him having blockers, I'm okay to just send Sejuani. It's like if he played another card, then I would probably want to put the Tusk Speaker into Kaisa so that we would have the opportunity to attack our 2 health unit into a Frostbite. But if he's coming in and trying to line up these plays as to where... if he's trying to line this up to where he only gets the single unit, then I think we're safe to send in the Sejuani. So if he plays a combat trick onto Kaisa, then we aren't at risk of losing our unit. So what's this going to do? It's going to kill a little bit of stuff. Sejuani's going to take 1. I mean, we can 3 Sisters into this, right? We can Fury of the North our Sejuani and block. But how worthwhile is that? So he's not getting any more attacks out of Kaisa. The only thing we have to worry about here would be a rally. Okay. So I'll play the Reaver. If he has like an additional unit plus a rally, then we can look to 3 Sisters there, but this is a pretty powerful board for him to have to deal with. And then if he does have a Golden Aegis, then we can still look to throw units in front of this. It's just like, it's a little dangerous if you're like, okay, I'm going to block your Kaisa, and then they end up having a concerted strike. So now we're going to lose our Sejuani here. I wish you could... I hate how you can't see how much this Acacian Rain is going to do. We're going to let this happen. So that part's good. It's so annoying. This is not useful whatsoever, not being able to see how much damage is coming in. I mean, I guess it's 2, 3 because of Evolve. Alright, block. Wish there was just some little indicator that said how many damages were coming onto each of our units. It's so hard. Like, okay. Uh-oh. Something happening. Got him. All right. Market a W for bust. Visit www.bustwinsagain.com. It will tell you the result of that match. I'm going to have to go and register that one too. I've really gotten to enjoy saying the #1 player in the world according to ftpbust.com. So why not add it somewhere else? #1 player in the world according to ftpbust.com. So here, this is tough, like hanging on to Unspeakable Horrors. I think it's okay. It's just like so hard to actually get an Unspeakable Horror to land onto a Kennen that it feels like we might as well just go ahead and fucking get rid of it and look for a Troll Chant. But we'll see. We'll try. He's got the protection to protect this Kennen here. So here, this is some of the strength in the overwhelms, though. If he wants to, say, block with Cannon and then drop a recall, we still get to punch in with this overwhelm damage, right? That's one of the big kind of stylistic plays that you see out of these Ionia decks, whether or not it's Ari Kennen or Kennen Ezreal or whatever, as they look to put a block down and then recall back, whether or not it's with the physical card recall or with Homecoming. Now with all of our units having Overwhelm, we have these opportunities to punch in extra damage when they make that play. Alright, so our bro will be protected here. He's got toughest little bro in all of the Freylord. There's a recall, absolutely. Looks like a reasonable open. Like, if at the end of the day all we get to do this turn is bank mana, I think that's fine. Just dropping the Ancient Yeti is asking for it to get removed from the game. So it's like if he costs 4 and opponent has Homecoming, he's just gonna return it, and we're gonna struggle from there. Now we got all this Troll Chant protection. The Troll Chant's putting in the work. Needs one more Kennen to get a flip. This is probably about as good of a time to drop an Ancient Yeti as we're gonna get. No, thank you. This Ruthless Raider just says, "Nah, bro, I'm totally resistant. Your moves do not work on me." All right, I don't know if we'll be able to win this game though. We haven't punched in quite enough damage. He has decent blocks here, even with all these shenanigans that we've been doing. Really coming in for 11, he has plenty of health behind. All right, so come in and prevent what we can. Coming in for 2, not quite enough. We're probably just gonna have to count on the Harrowing. So I don't think it's over just yet. We have a fair bit of time against these decks to assemble the Harrowing, but I think it's what we're gonna need. Not too much usage out of Ram's stance anymore, right? His cannons are all flipped now, so we're not going to be able to get a kill that way. That's a greedy Ezreal. Wouldn't be surprised if he has another copy in hand. Right, maybe we'll be able to get all of our cards down this turn. He's going to start doing stuff. He has the 2 Mark of the Storms in hand. Maybe we get something out of this. But that right there, exactly what I was talking about in terms of the recalls and stuff. The Ancient Yeti's just not going to do anything now. We'll go into the next turn and see if we draw the Harrowing. And if we do, great. And if we don't, kind of is what it is. There you go. You played it. You did it. I don't think it's enough, but might as well give it a shot.
Only the strong survive. You are cute.
I do have to wait on this guy to play like 100 cards, but let's see what happens. Oh, that animation was so delayed. I was like, oh my god, did he fuck it up? What just happened? The unit bounced and nothing happened. Okay, we're done. And so we weren't successful, but that game does show a lot of why overwhelms are so strong and so important right now. If you put, it's why the timelines decks tend to struggle against a lot of the format. If you've played your concurrent timelines, you put your 4 mana just giant stat monster onto the board, and your opponent just goes, cool, I'll block with Kennen and play a 1 mana recall. The tempo was just so huge that if your game plan is to play a 3-drop into a 4-drop into a 5-drop into a 6-drop, and your opponent gets to play drop a Kennen in front of one, homecoming a second one out of combat, and then still have the little lightning rushes ready to go. It's just such a crusher to those tempo style plays, and that's why we see decks like ours here with the overwhelms, and our opponent here playing Poppy Tarek with all of the rallies, having such importance in these formats. You can't just play a bunch of stats because they aren't good enough. They just don't do any damage. Okay, battles against Poppy Tarek. Got a bird. With the bird, we'll lead in with the Phantom Butler. Non-zero chance that it gets to deal combat damage to the face this turn. And then ideally next turn we'll get Ruthless Raider and then Unthinkable Horror, the bird. Oh, bird ready for battle. Unspeakable Horror is not doing it anymore. Okay, it's not going to get involved with this. This is going to be tough for us to beat. This is a lot of stats coming at us. And he's going to start getting a ton of card advantage out of this stuff. So I think we're in another one of these spots to where we're going to have to come in and try and build up board, lose everything, and then win with the Harrowing. And definitely get Harrowing wins against this deck. Okay. Everybody's got 4 attack. His blocks look pretty booty. It says, do I want to spend my Pale Cascade? Probably not. Probably does. I take it back. Curious why he did that, if he's just doing it for the cycle. Because it doesn't do a ton there. But alright, as we kind of saw with those previous games, we need to bank 1 mana going into next turn. We already have 2 banked up. If we want to get this play with the Harrowing, we have to bank 1. So if we're going to drop Ruthless Raider, then we can't play Unspeakable Horror, which I think is okay. I don't think we're going to need it this turn. I just want all of our units to die. Maybe Gwen doesn't die, but more than happy to have our units start to fall. Rip Gwen. I'll bring you back, Gwen. Don't you worry. We'll bring the magic right back in this game. So he's out of mana. We don't have to worry about his bird doing something improper to the host. So that block there should be fine. Gwen falls, but she'll come right back. Cool. Give me them stats, please. Says, uh-oh. Bust bringing the heat. Wow, we're even short a unit? Do we want to... Yeah, we're going to want to hit with the host to the left. Well, yeah. Should have maybe hit actually with our Ranger's or our Ruthless Raider way out to the right. That's our only unit that will survive this turn, right? All of our units are Hallowed except for the Ruthless Raider. So if we pushed him to the right, it could shift the Sparklefly to have to block down on the end. Doesn't look like we had been able to deal enough damage, right? We'd just be hitting for 6, taking him to 7, and then the Sparklefly would not be like a necessary block to the left, but that's something you will run into, right? The way that we describe these attacks is if you don't know how to attack, or if you're not entirely sure, then you want to attack with your little units to the left. For exactly things like this. You want the Sparklefly to have to block your smaller plays and not prevent as much damage.
Now that's a bit better.
This is still okay, though. If he doesn't put the Lodestone directly onto the Sparklefly, then we're going to have an opportunity right now to take it down, which would be nice. It's still okay if he has to start dropping like Pale Cascades and stuff now. And then the thing you start to run into with a deck like Poppy Tarek is you're like, oops, my hand is just my hand is just like rallies, and that's just not good at the moment. What's good at the moment is the Harrowing. Laser beam that one. GG. Easy peasy. I take my expensive spell, I put it on the board, and then I ask my opponent, did I win the game? They say, not yet, Bust, not yet. So you say, all right, let me come back at you here in a little bit. Try it again. Turns out it was good enough the second time. Okay, and so this is a space I will hold on to the Vulpine Wanderer. This is just like a fallback plan, right? We want our Phantom Butlers, we want our Ruthless Raiders, we want our, what are you called, Tusk Speakers. Those are the ideal units to be using for our Troll Chant play. But if we're starting with a hand that has a 2-drop and a Troll Chant and the Vulpine Wanderer, then fucking okay, you know? let's get that guy out here and into battle.
Warm your body, warm your soul.
Brings out Sultur. We can play the Ruthless Raider here to threaten a no attack from him. Preferably the Raider wouldn't get hate spiked, right? If we're going to have to play into hate spike, we'd rather lose our Phantom Butler, but at least survive the turn. Now we're Troll Chant ready. Big boy Bark Beast. I think it's probably not good enough at this point. Let's just go ahead and give it a pass. I really don't like not attacking, but with the Bark Beast having tough, it's just going to be such a pain in the dick to try and punch through. Right? Like a lot of times you can look at this and say, okay, well, we're going to get to slap some. We're going to get to slap some damage onto it, and then we'll clear it up with the Overwhelm on the following turn. It's not quite the case with how it worked here. How bad is this if he has a hate spike? Does this thing still happen? Can't remember. I think this swap still happens even if he kills our unit, right? Interesting. All right, nice draw on Gwen. We have to start attacking now. We get some usage out of this troll chant. We're going to start playing the expensive bros and the ancient yetis. And so this is just, it is what it is. We have to get in now. We at least get like a little, oh, I thought we lost a Hallowed unit. I was going to say, we at least get a little bonus in dropping Hallowed. Not yet. Not yet. Hasn't happened. Yeah, we're going to struggle now. Give me a one-way ticket to the struggle bus. How does this even look? So we bring these out. He puts Viego in front of Gwen. He puts Bark Beast in front of Ruthless Raider. He can't block Phantom Butler at that point. I don't think he cares. This Encroaching Mist is going to fall on the Wanderer. That all sounds horrible. Yeah, I don't know if we can dig ourselves out of this one. This is basically going to be like, well, can we get some massive value out of an Atrocity? And if we can, then there's a maybe to it, but... Or not Atrocity, out of the Harrowing. But just... He's gotten to do too much of his thing. We didn't get enough happening early. But we can look to do stuff like Entomb Viego, and maybe that will carry us for a little bit. I think we're in a spot, we have to be opening next turn, right? We can't just have our opponent be like, LOL, here's a Invasive Hydrovine. And so I think we just punch our stats in. This is done. This is done. Let's be real. We could play an Atrocity every turn for the rest of the game, and we're still not winning that one. All right, next one, please. Okay, Nami Nora. So what do we got? Hang on to the Yeti, hang on to the host. I'm okay with one Yeti. If we have two, I don't want to keep two. That was a mulligan into Yeti that didn't start there originally, but I'm okay with keeping one. You can play it on turn 4. It fits into a lot of these curves nicely that involve Troll Chant. We don't have the chant here, so we'll just try and punch in with our Halloweds, but... Not excited about the double Yetis.
Fight or die.
Okay. I was worried about a Make It Rain, right? I'm not entirely certain if this deck plays stuff like Make It Rains. I'm not super familiar with playing against the Nora Bandle City version, but as we're like deploying this board of 1 health units, I really wanted to protect from Make It Rain, right? We don't have to worry about Twisted Fates. That's not a thing here, but Double Pokestick's fine. That takes a ton of mana. You don't get to... He's not getting the opportunities to bank up his Namis here. All the Harrowings. Is he gonna prank us? He's gonna prank us and see all of our Harrowings. So here's what's coming at you, my dude. Wow, that's an aggressive Nami. Okay. There it is. We got a Harrowing. Let's see if he gets to see the other one. Interesting. He took the... No, he didn't. I was like, did he take the -1 power on the Yeti? This is ultimately quite awkward, right? If we want to Harrow, like, We can do this on turn 7 and turn 9. But I think we're stuck. All right. Just 1 mana short, right? We're going to go into turn 6 next turn and want to play Sejuani. We come back to turn... Oh, no. Oh, I just can't add. Oh, no, 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 no. We should have played the Ancient Yeti. Oh, that was brutal. Right, we banked 2. I was thinking we were going to come back on turn 6. A little bit of whoopsies. Maybe we won't need it. Just a little whoopsies. That 5 damage, never relevant. Never relevant. And so... Oof. Okay. And a Gnar. Uh-oh. He's gonna prank us again. Is it always +2 cost to the spells? Well, we have 2 champions in our hand, so he's gonna see both Harrowings every time. So with 11 cost Harrowings, we're not going to be able to play it until turn 9. So let's go ahead and drop Sejuani. I guess there's a world where maybe he just doesn't play a prank, but I can't imagine that happens. He's been doing weird stuff in terms of his banks, though. Oh man, did he just trinket trade? I think he trinket traded. No, he's still got this prank in hand. Okay. Oh, did he just discard it to Mecha Yordle? I caught a glimpse. Yeah, he made Mecha Yordle. He scrap heaped. Discarded his prank. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right, we do get to play the Harrowing. Alright, so this will put, drop the Dune Hopper down to 1 health. So when we do come in with our Overwhelms next turn, it's kind of like we got an attack in with the Ancient Yeti on the previous turn. Right? If he had a full 6 health, he could basically shut down an entire Sejuani attack. Now that we're coming in with it having 1 health, good opportunity for Overwhelms. So with this one, though, I think like we have been attacking with our Boisterous Host out to the left. We're going to have to see what he can get on board. I'm kind of leaning towards putting our 3 Halloweds onto the Ruthless Raider, because he's going to have so many blockers here, right? If we make the Boisterous Host have the full amount of health, he's just going to block it. Can do one of these.
Move aside, small fry.
It says we're coming in for a lot. A block onto the Phantom Butler would prevent 3 more. You can play a bunch of spells. Maybe that'll do something. Nami's not flipped, though, so she's not passing out plus health. Can't play things like Concussive Palm. We're not playing Ionia today. We might get it here. Yeah, maybe. It says neg 12. Face me, coward. You tell him, Sejuani. I believe in you. I think you might have done it. It's only got 1 mana left. Alright, Swindle's not going to do it. So that was nice. That was kind of good. The prank was discarded to something irrelevant, and then we got to cast our Harrowing. Didn't have to wait until turn 9. Pretty sweet. Mark it a W. At least getting that 50% win rate. Feels good. Feels good, man. All right. Final battle. Let's do it. The most supreme of opponents. I can already tell. People are lining up to play against old FTP Bust. Battling with the Sejuani deck. Let's see who the lucky person is. Gwydir bringing the scouts. All right. Gotta get rid of all this though. Give me some of those 2-drops. Found one. Gwydir likes to take forever. He stood in line for all that time just to take forever. Stare at his opening hand. Oh boy, you're gonna be here a while. You gotta think hard on these. Gonna say Mom and Diamond 2. This is life changing. All right, pretty crappy hand. We drew all of our top end here. This is a partial reason as to why I swapped out a Sejuani for a Gnar. You know, we couldn't play Gnar next turn, but we definitely couldn't play another Sejuani next turn. So gives us a little bit more time. And opponent does not seem to have a particularly strong hand. It's odd for scouts to come in and not play a 1 or a 2. But stranger things have happened. Don't really want to have to play Vengeance this turn. It seems like opponent's trying to be a little bit clever. Like, I don't want to be vengeancing the Misfortune. This feels like the kind of spot to where we're about to interact with a Quinn Bird. Like, I would suspect what's going to happen with this turn is he's going to play the Shell Shocker. This is a bait. He's going to play a Petricite Broadwing, and then he's going to play a Quinn Bird. But, like, why doesn't he play any of that last turn, though? I guess the other thing could be is he's just going to play a Riptide Sermon, which I'm okay with. We have more Gwens in the wings. Riptide Sermon. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and drop the Unspeakable Horror. If he wants to attack for a Misfortune tick up this turn, he's going to have to be willing to trade the Misfortune. Oh, no, he doesn't. He's getting a Riptide Horror unit. I'm still okay with this, but thought we were going to get something real sweet that turn. It didn't quite come about.
Love ya.
All right, Gwen Part 2.
My mark.
Got a Hallowed. Look out.
Nice to meet you. I'm Isla.
Okay. And we just need a little bit more time. Like, I don't think we'll piece together a good enough Harrowing for turn 7. I mean, maybe we can. We just drop a Tusk-Speaker Doom Beast and hope that that's enough. I don't know. This really just feels like a Sejuani. He's got to be attacking right now, right? This looks like the setup for a Golden Aegis attack. So let's shut down what we can. We'll put the weakness onto the Vanguard Sergeant. If he wants to try and boost his Misfortune with this stuff this turn, I think that's okay. Now, do we really want to, like, play into this and then try and Harrowing next turn. I think I'm okay with that. If something dies here, it's not terrible. Maybe we just block with Sejuani. We don't have to Harrowing next turn. But this does kind of reek of a Golden Aegis, right? I felt like we shut it down. Okay, Vanguard Sergeant's in. How many units have we had die this game? That would be an interesting thing to know.
Leave no survivors.
I think we're good here.
Love ya.
Get a Gwen attack. We picked up the Doom Beast, which is kind of interesting, letting us get a getting a drain, pad our health just a little bit. I mean, let's drop it. Even like 3 units is enough. And then if things go into next turn, we have lots of interactivity, right? We have the 3 sisters to just shut something down, an Unspeakable Horror, Doom Beast to drain. We can just Vengeance Misfortune if we need to. Like, we have lots of options in terms of the next turn. Misfortune flipping here would be kind of awkward, but I mean, that only leaves him with 3 mana if he says plays a Golden Aegis onto Misfortune. And so she would get to flip, but it'd be kind of tough for her to be extremely relevant. I think the worst here would probably be another Riptide Sermon, but you would have had to have snapped that off, right? Well, given how fast this game has gone, maybe not, but
I shall need my tools.
all right. Pretty good collection of stuff coming at him. It's like Misfortune isn't even enough to bring forth a lethal or stop the lethal.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
We should. Gwen will flip after combat as well. I think. I don't exactly remember how this works. If she sees the ephemeral Gwen count towards the Gwen. Oh, yeah, there we go. If we look at the Oracle Eye, she's going to flip. Uh-oh. Only took him to 1. Uh-oh. We'll still be okay. We got this Unspeakable Horror and the Doom Beast ready to finish.
No matter their resolve, mine will be stronger.
I think we did it. Are you all going to go and visit www.ftpbus.com/rankings/worldwide? See who's at number 1? It's me. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Cupcake it. GG it. Let's head on out of here. It's all right. Yeah, not a bad set of games. And again, there's a couple of concepts going on here. I think a lot of the concepts are good. The first question you're always going to be asking yourself is this deck better than the Noxus version? And it struggled in certain cases, but it was a little bit stronger in other cases as well. And so I think the Noxus version, what it has going for it is just... The board stall is a little bit better, and you get better spells, right? Getting to come out and play things like whatchamacallit, Ravenous Flock is extremely strong, and then being able to also have the kind of built-in rally abilities with the Eternal Dancers, whatever that guy, the Eternal Dancers, Reckless Ruiner kind of combo thing, to where you get to attack and then not so much infinite loot, that never happens, but you just have a big value engine built into that. To whereas with a deck like this, if putting stats on the board doesn't work, then we're probably going to lose. And so it's kind of interesting there. But again, as the metas evolve and people say, "Oh boy, I need to be ready for this Noxus version of the Gwen deck," that does open up spaces for a deck like this to peek in. It does similar things, yet the gameplay style is different enough to where your opponent's tech probably doesn't work here. And then it also, if you're, say, looking to play Katarina in something else, I don't think there's a lot of great decks running around right now involving Katarina, but it could be something with Elise, right? If you don't want to play, say, like 3 copies of Gwen, 3 copies of Katarina, which sounds pretty meh, say you're wanting to play Elise in this new Elise Nora deck that's running around, or Elise in a Decimate style deck, that does limit your options in terms of champions that you're running with Gwen. And maybe this deck isn't up to the quality of the Noxus version, but it's not so bad that you want to leave it at home and you want to play Elise in another deck, and then that opens up the space to run a slightly different version of Gwen. And so, it has some other good things going for it, though. I really enjoyed the 3 Harrowing version here. As you look at a lot of the deck lists across the meta reports and stuff for this thing, you're seeing a lot of things like Battle Fury and a lot of things like Atrocity, and I'm just not super huge fans of those in an Ezreal Kennen based format. Yes, you have to worry about Deny, but if our Harrowing gets stopped by Deny, Battle Fury gets through, Atrocity gets countered by it. But the flip side of that is if your opponent has a bunch of Homecomings, or if they have a bunch of Kennen stuns or whatever, Battle Fury has a lot of opportunities to fail. And a lot of these decks play sets of cards like 3 Deny, 3 Homecoming, 2 Ionian Tellstones. And with a setup like that, they have 5 bounce spells, 3 counter spells. And so the 5 bounce spells against a Battle Fury is a lot more powerful than just the 3. I did some math on that. 5 is more than 3. It's easier to draw 5 than it is to draw from the 3. And so the full copies of Harrowing I do think I like, as opposed to playing something like Battle Fury. But otherwise, it's kind of an interesting concept here. Again, this used to be kind of played as Darius Gnar, but I think this edition of Gwen probably much better than including the Darius versions out there. And so, interesting deck, interesting concept, a little bit of old brought in with the new. If you're going to bring this out for your own, I didn't like Malefic Spear. It can go. You can probably even cut Gnar as well. There's nothing wrong with only playing 5 champions, and that opens you up for a little bit more of something else. What the something else should be, I'm not entirely certain, but I thought I was going to be happy with the Malefic Spear. I thought we were going to run into these spots to where we have a 2, we attack, we don't have a Troll Chant. One of our units trades, one of our units lives, and then we get to follow up with a spear. Just add a bunch of stats to the board on the cheap, and then have a maybe reasonable fearsome unit. Those plays just never came together. So I didn't like the spear. Nar's fine, but whatever. You got a couple of slots to play with there, but otherwise, really, really happy with the 3 copies of the Harrowing. And so that is going to do it for us today. Hope everyone enjoyed the video. I hope our Harrowings were not as scary as you expected them to be. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way. Had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.